Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And in our last episode, we went over the spread operator. And yes, I do understand it is confusing. If you left me any comments or anything like that, they're not going to be answered in this or the next episode because I'm doing them back to back. As you can see, we're still in version 10.291. I believe by the time this episode actually airs, version 11 will be out, which is kind of good because that will give me a 2 week leeway to make sure that everything that we're doing, actually the mods and stuff, are all updated for version 11 and work in version 11. I don't know why they wouldn't, because it's just basically the macro editor and the acelib, or is it called acelib, whatever, and that's pretty much it. And then I think we use the sidebar macro. That one might not be, I don't know. So anyway, let's continue on to our next one. So even though I believe the episode that this is, I think it's going to be, did I say it's going to be I think I said it to 19 or 20. I'm not sure. Anyway, I guess it's irrelevant. They're way off from what we have in here, but we're still going to call it 12b. So we're going to go ahead in here, set that to fundamentals, and we're going to say to 12b, and we're going to call this the rest pattern. I think is what, yes, pattern. So we're going to talk about the rest pattern in this one. Go down here real quick, grab our template, and hit V. I'm going to go ahead and hit F12 so we can get this the right size up front. And I don't think we need that. Look, we even have all our spread stuff in here still. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the rest pattern. Now, this has quite a bit of typing in comments and stuff, so just to save on time, I'm going to copy and paste because, as you guys know, I'm a slow typer and very prone to errors. So I think this might help at least move us along a little bit. So the rest pattern, it looks just like the spread operator. It is 3 dots. However, it does the opposite of the spread operator. The rest operator is used to pack elements into an array. And then here we're going to do an example of what we're talking about with the spread operator. So we're going to do a quick example of the spread operator. Now, you'll have to forgive me because this example of the spread operator, there is absolutely no reason you would actually use the spread operator here. So as you can see, we have this array that we're creating called attributes. Really, there would be no reason why not just get rid of that and have int, whiz, and cha be listed separately. But just for the example, stick with me, be patient. We're showing the spread operator. So what this is going to do is create a new array, and it's going to do our dex, our strength, dex, and con. And then out of this other array that we're actually kind of virtually creating on the spot, or saying there's an array with these elements in it, we're going to unpack those into this and then assign all of it into our attributes. So this is how we do that. So we're going to hit F12, and you'll see here when we execute it, we have strength, dex, con, int, whiz, and charisma. And you'll notice that it is a single array. It doesn't have a second array, which is what we were talking a lot about in the last episode with the rest operator. With the spread operator. So let's go ahead. I'm going to copy my next set of comments and paste them in. So up here, actually, this comment feels like it should be below Yeah, I think this comment actually should probably be below what we are actually going to be putting in here. Doesn't make sense to have it there because it's kind of commenting on what's going on. So here you can say it is called a rest parameter because it takes all the rest of the elements and places them into a new array. So actually, no, I probably want that just like that. So let's go ahead and we will look at the rest parameter. So like it says, it's the rest parameter is identical to the spread operator. The difference is where it's at. So as we can see, the equal sign or the assignment operator right here, the the spread operator is on the right side of the assignment operator. The rest parameter will be on the left side. And that's what this comment right here is. So I'm going to grab my example real quick. And I'm just seeing, okay, I'm not actually accessing any objects here. We're just making a inline thing here. So here what we're doing is we're creating an array, and you'll see that we're saying right hand, left hand, ... backpack. Now I believe I should have a backpack. I think this might be part. I need the other one. I think I need to have that backpack because this is not. No. This will work. I'm remember. Sorry, I'm just being a little dumb. So these are what we're assigning. Remember with the destructuring, and usually I believe you use the rest parameter or the rest pattern with that. So as you can see here, we have. This isn't an array. This is just saying that we're kind of destructuring the items in the array into that. And what it's saying is the short sword will be assigned to right hand. We remember this from destructuring. The shield will be assigned to the left hand. And the ... is saying, and the rest will be assigned to backpack. Excuse me. So that means the backpack should have food, water, and map in it. So then here we're going to go ahead and output what's in the right hand will be our right hand item. And then we're just using the new line so we can have it all, just displayed without lots of console logs. The left hand will have the left hand item. And then we're going to output the backpack as everything else. So what this is going to do is it's automatically going to assign the left hand and the right hand their items. But the backpack is going to get the rest of the stuff, which will end up being a new array. So let's go ahead and run this. And we'll go ahead and clear and run. And so here you can see that, well, we're kind of doing it more as a list, as backpack. So you can see here that, and I think actually I know why it's doing that. It's because we actually have backpack inside with this. If we took backpack out and instead of adding it as a string, added it as a actual item there, I think is that what I need to get rid of that one. I think that's what I need to do. So if I run this again, you'll see now backpack is actually the array of the remaining things. The reason it was showing it as just a string of items is because when we do our output where this is a string and then we're just adding this as another string, it's going to auto convert this into one giant string. So down here where we were trying to take our array, but we're saying it was a plus the array, it looks at the array and says, wait a minute, I can't add an array to a string, so I'm just going to output the array as a string to add into this string. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably not. So as you can see here, this is the rest operator right there. And it is called the rest operator, or we know it's a rest operator because it's on the left side of the assignment operator. And what else was I going to say? And even though it looks like the spread operator, because it's on the left side of the operator, it is the rest operator. And basically what it does is, if you just think all the rest, everything else, anything left over from an array will be dumped into this single variable, which will then end up being a new array. Whew, that gets a little complex. All these get complex until you play with them a while. All right, so let's go ahead and look at some other examples of things we can do with it. So I'm going to do a copy of this stuff, which is more our console log to give us a space, and then we have more info here. So here's an example of using the spread operator and the rest operator. Note that skipped elements are not included, only elements after the last set variable. Rest must be the last element. So that just kind of makes logical sense. I couldn't say backpack at the very beginning and then left hand, right hand, because this is everything else. This is and the rest. So this would put everything in the backpack and then probably error out because we don't have any variables, because we're trying to assign a variable after we've said everything. So there's nothing to assign. I am, once again, because this is a lot of stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just copy it and paste it, and we'll kind of go over it. Because we're already at 11 minutes, and this would take me a while to type. All right, so let's do V. I'm going to close this just so we have a little better view of what's going on here. All right, so here's our example that I was just talking about. I think I already said this, but the thing I was pointing out is right here, for example, we're skipping an item. And we talked about that with the destructuring. If we leave an item blank when it's arrays, because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this would be element 4, and so on and so forth, right? So if we're looking at this, we can see that we have 2 arrays. We have food, water, torches, healing potion. We have rope, flint, steel, coin pouch, so on and so forth. Then we are saying, well, we're doing this inline, so we're not assigning something to all this array as a single array. But you can see we're unpacking in this new array that we're going to assign to our values. This is really kind of hard to explain. Because this and this are not arrays, it's actually going to assign that value, and then everything, all the rest, will be assigned to the BP, right? It's really hard, and I actually did it wrong here too. This needs a comma, and then we just need that like that, so we don't have. So as you can see, we have our consumables, which is food, water, torches, healing potion. We have our items, which is rope, flint, steel, and our coin pouch. These, excuse me, these are all things that are going to be in our backpack. But our inventory could be this. And in fact, maybe it would be easier to do this if we had that be our inventory. Hopefully this works, because I didn't test it. So if we do const inventory, this will be everything all together. So we could go here, Control X and Control V. I really shouldn't ever try and do these things. So this would be unpacking inventory. So inventory is just basically going to be all this combined with all this. Then we're going to unpack inventory into this, and all the rest. I really hope this works, because I made that change. Although we are seeing something here. Expected identifier instead of saw. Oh, it needs to be in the array, right? I think it does. Because we're taking the array inventory, unpacking it into this new array, and then we're assigning it out. I think that's right. All right, so hopefully this works so I don't look dumb. But if I look dumb, I look dumb. All right, so we're going to hit F12. Ooh, I did pretty good there. And we are going to go ahead and hit execute and cross our fingers. Boom, it kind of worked, I think. All right, so as you can see, inventory got everything that was listed above because we unpacked it into there, or we used the spread operator and assigned that to inventory. Then hopefully that made this make a little more sense, that now inventory, the element 0 and element 1, which are our where is it, short sword and shield. Hold on, I'm missing something. Oh, the word backpack will not be in our backpack. That's why I had that there. So so we have our sword and our shield, which are these two. Then we're skipping one. Technically, I'm kind of... Okay, good. So the word backpack is being skipped for no other reason than we're skipping it. And then everything else, which is all that stuff, will be put in BP, which is our backpack. And if we go and look, we have our shield and our short sword. We're expecting to see everything that's listed up here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 items, which we have 7, but backpack is not included. This part, I believe we already went over, where you can actually skip items to skip them there as well. So hopefully you remember that. Okay, so let's do some more playing with this. I'm going to grab my next little example. Where are we at? We're at 17 minutes. I think we're okay. Kind of funny, when I just paste in the example, I have to remember exactly what I was doing. So here we have our using the REST operator in objects. So we can use it in objects. Note that con is not the last property in our object. So what we're showing is we can use the REST operator also with our assignments. So here you can see that con is actually our last element here. We would expect, if we were unpacking our PC attributes, it would go, you know, strength, dex, and con. So this is going to be our and the rest, or the strength and dex will actually be there because we're by name calling con. If you remember the destructuring of objects, then this will make sense. If you don't know that, you might want to go back and review the destructuring of objects, and arrays would be really good for this. All right, so as you can see here, we are creating really quick a PC because we don't have our Zilia one and we only need a little bit of it. Inside PC object, we have another object called attributes, or ATT. Inside that object, we have strength, dex, and con. Now down here, you can see that by name, we're saying con is going to be named health, right? And then the rest, anything left in here, will be assigned to strength dex, STRDEX. And so what we'll expect is, even though we assign con first here, it's not grabbing that. It will grab properly because we have the name. Kind of, it's mapped. And then we're going to output in the way that it's actually shown here. So let's go ahead, we'll clear this, and we'll hit execute. And you can see it's doing exactly what we wanted it to do. Instead of creating an array with the and the rest part of it, which is, where am I, down here, it's actually going to create us a new object. And it knows it's an object because, one, this is an object, and we're actually destructuring an object. So here we can see that strength and dex got assigned the rest, and con got assigned health. Once again, The rest always has to be the end one because it's everything else. If you tried doing con after that, con would actually be in there and it would cause an error. So, but here you can see it actually does exactly what we're expecting it to. All right. Let's see. Is this our... I think this is our last-ish example. So we're going to use the unpacking or the rest in a function here, because you can also use it in functions, which is kind of handy if you have a list of properties that you, well, they call them properties. You have your values that you want to send to the function, and then the function takes them as arguments. You can actually use the and the rest type of thing, or the is this the unpacking? Rest of the parameters. Let's just do it, and I'll explain it as we go along. I think that's easier than trying to read my notes and do it all at once. All right, so here we have using it in a function. So this is called rest parameters instead of pattern. So it's not going to be called the rest pattern. This is rest parameters. And as you can see here, we have these fancy, well, we have, let's just talk about our thing. So we have our function. So we're doing a our function, where's our function at? Oh, actually, we're doing it as a anonymous function. So add is going to be our anonymous function. It's expecting the rest of numbers. So everything that is going to be given to this function will actually be stored in this array called numbers. We're going to set sum to 0. We're going to set str to blank. And then we're going to go ahead and go through our numbers array, and we're just going to add each of these numbers up. When we're done, we're going to have each of those numbers. So as you can see here, we're taking those numbers, we're adding them, and then we're actually kind of outputting the list of numbers that we're adding, and adding an equals at the end, and then basically outputting everything. So let's go ahead and run this. So what we expect, because everything is the rest, whether I put in one set of parameter, a single parameter, actually I don't think that would work because I'm adding, no, I'd add it to 0, so it wouldn't matter. So if I had, let's just do that for the fun of it. So add, sometimes I think of different things as we're there. So I'm just going to say 9. So what we're expecting to see here is 9. We'll say 9. 2 plus 3, we'll say 5. This is what? 8 and 7, which is 15. And 2, 16, 17. This is 10. That's 10 there. That's 10 there. So that's 15, I believe. And then we'll, what is this one? This is also shown that we can unpack an array into it. So here you see we actually are having the spread operator. In this case, it's a little tricky. That's because this is what's being passed into. So if you think about it, this is what is being assigned, the ... numbers. This would be kind of on the right side of what I'm assigning into it. So this, you would think numbers equals whatever these values are. Hopefully that makes a little sense. This, like I said, this is really confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to ping me on Discord, and I'll try and do a better job. All right, so anyway, that's what we're expecting to see. I believe that was 15 and so on and so forth. Here we should see 23 and 5, which is 28. 28 and 7 would be, is that 35 maybe? I don't know. It's irrelevant that I don't know math or can't do math. So let's go ahead and run it. So here you can see 9 equals 9 because it's taking our thing here. It's saying all the numbers, and the sum is first 0. So what we're doing is adding 0 to numbers, which is 9, and that's the end. So it's going to go ahead and not even put an equals. 9 equals 9. It's not going to put the plus. It's just going to say, okay, I'm done. And then it's going to go ahead and output the total and everything. In this case, with 2 and 3, it is sending 2 and 3 into this. So we get an array, which here, numbers length, in this case, will be 2. So it's going to run twice. The first time, it's going to put the addition sign. The second time it runs, it's going to just log the number, right? And that will give us 5, and so on and so forth. It's going to do that. And then this is the important one here. We're creating an array of numbers, and then we're using the spread operator to unpack these numbers in here. Now, as far as the program cares, what this is actually equaling is this entire thing as an array. It's just saying 23, 5, 7. And that's being passed in here and being packed into a, I guess, temporary array called numbers, and then it's being slowly gone through. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, it's really hard to say this stuff. All right, so I think that will do. Hopefully I thoroughly confused you. Hopefully you followed along and kind of understand it. Like I said, if you didn't, I am more than happy to talk to you on Discord. It's a really good way to contact me if you want to talk to me about any of my types of videos or just want to chat in general. I usually reply fairly quickly if I get messages there. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Click the little notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. You know the standard stuff. And yeah, that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.